You're watching Newsroom on SABC News. Hello and welcome from Johannesburg in South Africa. I'm Evan Janssen. The show is live and broadcast from our studios in Auckland Park. We're also streaming live on YouTube as we speak, with our entire show available on our YouTube channel all of the time. Today, we look at the rise of Satanism and devil worship amongst the youth of South Africa. Southern Africa is expected to become a lucrative textile manufacturing player, and we look back to, well, all the Nedbank Cup action in all of its glory a little bit later in our show. But first, let's take a look at our top stories. Gauteng police are searching for the killers of one of Johnny Clegg's backing vocalist, Bongani Masuku. He was shot dead on Saturday night in Troyville, Johannesburg. Clegg said on his official website that he was shocked and saddened by the singer's death. He said he had been working with Masuku for the past 12 years and described him as a stalwart performer, a hard-working musician and a good friend. The trade union AMCO and the platinum producer Lonman have both denied any knowledge of a hit list of miners who have agreed to return to work. According to reports at the weekend, 3 men who were murdered in the platinum belt last week were on the list. Workers at Lonman, Anglo-American Platinum and Impala Platinum have been on strike since January, demanding a 12,500 rand monthly salary. And the government of Mali has sent in troops to retake the town of Kidal from Tuareg separatists. They attacked the town at the weekend during a visit by Prime Minister Moussa Mara. At least 8 soldiers were killed and around 30 civil servants captured by the rebels. Satanism and other harmful religious practices in schools around South Africa has had officials and parents sit up and take notice. The death of Kirsty Teologo made headlines in 2011 when she was set alight during a satanic ritual. In a recent incident, 2 teenage boys were arrested for allegedly murdering 2 Soweto schoolgirls during what is also believed to be a satanic ritual. Now the boys will appear in the Protea Magistrates Court again today on charges of murder. Satanism and devil worship is growing amongst the youth in South Africa across all race groups. And in studio, we are joined by the Gauteng Department of Community Safety's Thapelo Moeloa, by the Youth Desk Provincial Chairperson Jeff Mohlele, and by the Coordinator for Faith-Based Organisation in the Department of Community Safety, Reverend Tebogo Klaas. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'm sure you agree that was a mouthful that we just said. But Thapelo, if I can start with you guys at the department, just in general, are we seeing an alarming rise of satanic cults all over the country, and have we reached crisis levels here in Gauteng?
Indeed, we have been seeing a dramatic increase, more so that a lot of cases are unreported. There are cases that were reported. You know, the first case was the case in Ekurhuleni in the East Rand, way before the other cases in Soweto, and there are other cases that have been happening also. But for the mere fact that some of these cases happen amongst people who practice the same religion, if you were to say, they go unreported, and they happen also in Pretoria. And some of them, it is believed that because they're happening among people who are known to their victims, they tend to put it away and say, no, this will bring shame to the family, and if this comes out, what will people think of us, and all those type of things. So it is quite increasing. The numbers that we have for now is quite alarming, and therefore we also need to be saying, although it could have been now 10 cases or 5 cases, 1 case is one too many. Hence, we have come to the realization that we need to be bringing on board all the different sectors to assist us in making sure that we deal with this problem. As you recall, the Gauteng Safety Strategy as Pillar 4 states clearly that we need community mobilization if we were to win war against crime. So hence, we have the faith-based organization sector that we are working with us, the youth desk, and all the other sectors. We need them to be coming on board so that at least we can speak with many voices, but targeting the same target. In that case, we'll make sure that we win the war against crime.
Reverend, if I can ask you to make a distinction for our viewers between Satanism and then devil worship, because both seem to be in practice in our schools somewhere along the line.
Perhaps I'm not necessarily going to do the distinction, except to say that it is constitutionally entrenched that people can express themselves and associate themselves with various religions. And so it would be unfair to then begin to be on the attack in terms of the other, especially coming from a point of mobilizing society for cohesion.
Yeah.
What we are concerned about are acts that are related, which are gruesome in their nature. There's human sacrifice as part of that. There's substance abuse as part of that.
Yeah.
It is those elements that we are concerned about. As to whether, the people, therefore, are part of a Satanism or devil worship, that it's the choice they make, and that's entrenched by our constitution in this country. And they can continue to do that, however, as long as it does not have consequences for life.
It doesn't infringe on the rights of other people,
Yes,
also, I would
yes.
think. Jeff, if I can ask you, you work with the youth day in, day out. Just give us your sense. Why are these practices on the rise amongst our youth in South Africa?
Okay, thank you very much. I think the issue that the so-called satanic practices are on the rise, it's not a matter that we can say maybe it's a rise from whatever percentage to whatever percentage.
Yeah.
I think what makes them prevalent and in our face is the fact that there is criminal acts that are now becoming more and more popular amongst the youth, especially in the townships and most particularly in the schools. So it has always been there, but I think right now we are seeing a sketch in terms of the criminal acts, which is where our interest comes in, to say that when it gets to the point where crime is committed in the name of certain practice, then intervention is needed.
So the intervention is needed. What sort of interventions are you guys putting on the table?
Some of the interventions that we did that Jeff was hoping that he'll touch on too, is that obviously there was a workshop that we convened with almost all the youth desk members sometime last day in October, where we actually coming in to say these are the pointers that we must look at as we interact with young people when you do your school safety program and when we interact with them on another level. Because often enough, these people who practice these rituals, we are told that they have some signs or some symbols that they use, which the police can actually identify that, okay, we can see that in this act, there was an element of Satanism, used by the perpetrator, because they often live those things. So we have been having that workshop, but we are saying following from that workshop, obviously we need more awareness so that people can begin to be, wary of the people that they associate with. Because often enough, as we talk to young people, as we engage with them, some of them, they say, no, I didn't know that my friend is a worshipper of Satanism, and that's how I got hooked into. And we are again saying, we are now in the process of talking to parents to begin to say, parents, even take responsibility of your children, spend a little time with your child, because we know that, they display some of the symbols in their bedrooms, even in their books. Even the teachers were telling us to say, whenever they are marking their, their exam, their homeworks and whatever thing, some of these kids, they even go to the extent of not actually doing their homework, but put some drawing on their books and all those type of things. But if you are a parent, take time to engage your child, see who your child relates to, who she or he associates with, because often enough, you can pick up those signs and you can call on us or the police to try and see how best we can assist, because we are not just looking at making sure that our correctional services are full with young people, because there are a lot of things that young people can do apart from resorting to going to jail. There's a life out there that we think we should pursue to begin to try and entrench in them to say, leave all these things. It is your right, like the Reverend has said. Yeah. You can do that practice for as long as it impedes on other people's life, for as long as it's a criminal element. Yeah. It is wrong. So we have been going a lot on an awareness drive to talk to young people and even to parents as well.
Reverend, I want to ask you about your cooperation and the collaboration that you have with the department. What are you guys doing, and tell us about the kind of interventions?
I think the first area is that we're seeking to prevent crime, to promote safety. These are the core reasons for engaging faith communities within society. And in this phenomenon that has risen recently among people, what we engage on is begin not only to be reactive, but to proactively learn together what are the things that are involved. It's already alluded to matters of family. Yeah. Family relations, the extent to which there is a relationship between parents and children. Yeah. These are matters that faith communities should be at ease with engaging, because these are matters that they've always engaged with. And so providing training to religious leaders in particular, jointly with youth leaders across the board in society, so that we all learn together what are these particular things, what are the signs that we can have in order to be able to make interventions before there's even death that we talk about, before even, the fact that the use of substances is also part of this. It is critical that we therefore collaborate and work together with schools, with even legal facilities that we have in communities that are selling liquor. Yeah. It's critical that there's an engagement so that we are preventative in terms of interventions.
Jeff, we hear about drugs, liquor, and all these sorts of things, but what are the other factors that in your investigations or what you guys are looking at? You work on the youth desk. What are the kids saying? Why are they moving away and into this kind of avenue?
Okay, I think in the main, what happens is that the people who are recruiting these young people, they entice them with all sorts of materials and money and cars and fame and all of those kind of things, which they know that all young people want to be part and parcel or to be in possession of such. Yeah. So that in itself fuels their interest in participating in such acts. But I must actually put on record that our activity and our interventions is not to condemn one religion over the other. Yeah. Our interest is to promote advocacy and do awareness so that we know what are the elements of crime out of certain practices that we have in this various sort of called Satanism and whatnot.
Tapela, I want you to just tell the parents, what can they do? How can they intervene? And what should they be on the lookout for if their children are involved in these kinds of practice?
Like I said before, if you spend a little bit of time with your kids, say about 30 minutes every day, go to their bedroom, see if there are things that you can pick up. Like I said, there are symbols that they put on the walls, there are symbols that they put on their textbooks, some even that they put on their body, like they piece them on the body. So in the event that you see that your child is involved in such, you can get in touch with our department, because like we are saying, we are on the social crime prevention more than seeing a lot of these young people going to correctional facilities, a lot of them. So in the event that your child is involved, you are most welcome to contact the department. Even SAPS themselves, they also have a crime prevention element in which they will assist your child freely. So we can even take them to rehab should it need be that we feel that there has to be some kind of rehabilitation that has to be taken through.
Finally, Jeff, who's the most at risk?
I think the people at risk is the society at large, because we cannot single out a particular segment of the population to say these people are at risk. Yeah. It affects mainly the youth, but then it affects all of us, because when, let's say, criminal activities like murder and whatnot are committed, it is a problem of us as a society. So I would say as a nation, we need to rise and make sure that we get the level right, and then make sure that Satanism does not affect us per se as far as criminality is concerned. But as a religion, we have no say as far as that is concerned.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. Reverend Tebogo Klaas, thank you.
You're welcome.
Jeff Moiloa from the Youth Desk and then the Department of Community Safety, Tapelo Moiloa. Thank you very much for joining us today, gentlemen.
You're welcome.
Now, top story. Gauteng police are searching for the killers of one of Johnny Clegg's backing vocalist, Bongani Masuku. He was shot dead on Saturday night in Troyville in Johannesburg. Police say 4 men approached Masuku and demanded a cell phone and his car keys. A struggle ensued and one of the men shot him several times. Clegg said on his official website that he was shocked and saddened by the singer's death. He said he had been working with Masuku for the past 12 years and described him as a stalwart performer, a hard-working musician and a good friend. Well, let's take a quick look at what's happening on the front pages around the world. The New York Times today shifts to Russia and the rights the country has obtained on the peninsula to tap its seabed for oil and gas reserves, potentially worth trillions of dollars. Then most of the European papers dominated by sport this morning, and then the Nigerian paper, the Vanguard, has the latest on the world uniting against Boko Haram. Well, those are some of the top newspapers around the world and their headlines. Let's just take before we go to a break, a look at what you're talking about on social media at the moment. Jabulani says the DA is proving to be not so perfect. I wonder why Rampele did not stay. Why does Zille say Mazibuko is nothing without her? Of course, that's the infighting that's going on within the official opposition at the moment. Boitumela says Ivan Jim Numsa, no DA or ANC wishes for black emancipation. Only EFF will bring economic freedom in our lifetime. We will fight. That's obviously an EFF supporter. Adriano says, I'm afraid pride might destroy the DA. Helen Zille should refrain from talking against Lindiwe. Let her leave with dignity. Hashtag DA caucus. Leaf and Vake says, I believe Zille has steered the DA well the last few years, but speed humps seem to be attracted to her these days and is, in my opinion, damaging the party. Levi says, shame on the DA news voters. Look what happened to your party. We told you that DA Safana will never love you. I'm at my ANC till death, says Levi. And then Matla says, Tani Zille is busy defending herself on Twitter. Sorry, Zille, we don't care what you said and what you did. The truth always comes out. At SABC Newsroom. That's where we live on Twitter. So send your contributions there. We love comments and even more so pictures. After a short break, we'll look at the textile industry here in South Africa, and it looks like there might be some good news. Don't go away. This is Newsroom on SABC News.
Your World provides trusted world, continent and local stories. We deliver breaking news from across the globe and information on the latest top stories on business, technology, politics and sport. analysis of the big global business and economic issues as they affect consumers and investors. Make sure you don't miss Your World, weekdays between 11 and 12 midnight. We keep the nation fully informed.
Welcome back. You with Newsroom on SABC News. As international focus shifts to Africa as a growing global player, the continent's manufacturers are ready to take advantage of the growing interest at South Africa. The textile, apparel and footwear trade event taking place in Cape Town from the 18th until the 20th of June 2014, with retail heavyweights such as H&M eyeing out sub-Saharan Africa for future production. The benefit of sourcing from Africa is becoming a hot topic in the international sourcing arena. Source Africa, now in its second year, provides a platform for African manufacturers to connect with both international and intra-regional buyers. But to tell us more about the event taking place in June is Mark Goliath from the Industrial Development Corporation here in South Africa. Very good morning to you and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Evan.
Let's start with Source Africa. Tell us a little bit about the event and the importance of it, really.
Well, Source Africa is an initiative which was started by USAID and the American Apparel and Footwear Association. And we had the first, it provides a platform for African manufacturers to showcase their capabilities, really. And USAID started this initiative to really allow buyers from Europe, America and Asia to come across, look at what's on offer in an African context and take that away. Because there's great concern that Africa has not really made headway into the international markets, and especially America and Europe. And that's how this whole process started. For this year, last year was the initial platform in Cape Town, and it was very well received. We had 170 exhibitors, of which 16 countries across Africa were represented. And it was the first time that the Industrial Development Corporation visited to see how we as an organization could facilitate this and increase its footprint, really.
The immediate future, or let's call it the short and medium term, is the outlook good? Do we foresee a medium term where South Africa's textile and manufacturing industry really gets a big boost on the back of this sort of global demand, and will it play out in the rest of Southern Africa if so?
Our view is definitely yes. We've seen local demand, and that's purely on a national level increase within the industry in all spheres, being clothing, textiles and footwear, in the past 18 to 24 months. Events such as Source Africa allow South Africa and its regional partners to really look at how regional manufacturing can be used as a tool to export. Each one of our regional partners have certain strengths that, if combined, I'm sure we could penetrate export markets more efficiently.
Talk about competition at the moment. It's China. Labor's cheap, and it seems economies of scale always work in their favor. How competitive are we then as a market to compete for that manufacturing sector with the likes of China in the face of America, Europe and so forth?
China is a very competitive market, obviously, but China is also facing dire price pressures. Inflation's increasing dramatically, and this has posed opportunity for areas such as Africa. Global inflation has penetrated countries such as China, India, Pakistan, Cambodia, Vietnam, and this has now driven companies such as H&M, as you alluded to look at Africa as kind of the last port of call where there is still opportunity to drive manufacturing, its manufacturing base. because Africa, unfortunately, does not have a huge manufacturing base, as does the Asian countries.
Yeah.
So therefore, there is opportunity for cheaper manufacturing. On the local front, companies such as the Industrial Development Corporation has put programs in place to try and facilitate improved manufacturing. And this is through improving upgrading of equipment, which is key in improving efficiencies and lowering your cost base to make you more competitive on the global market.
Do you see the increase in the quality that I think that is needed in order for us to be a little bit more competitive?
South Africa has always been seen as quite a high-quality manufacturer. It's actually one of the problems, one of the negatives, is that our quality is of such a nature that it makes us non-competitive on some of the cheaper products, if I can call it that. I mean, if you take a cheap T-shirt, as an example, which you could import from China at 10 Rand, 8 Rand, if you had to make that same T-shirt in South Africa, yes, it would be more expensive, but the quality of that T-shirt would be substantially better. And that's the trade-off that I think a lot of local purchasers or local retailers need to make when they look at what do you purchase locally relative to what you import. Because, you know, you get what you buy for. If you're paying 10 Rand, that's what you're going to get, you know, a cheap quality garment in general.
There's also the mention of intra-regional trade. How are we going to connect with these other economies around us that are going to be growing at a very fair clip? Well, the outlook for Africa's economy over the next decade is very good. How are we going to link in with this?
At the moment, South African manufacturers' exposure to the African market is purely through the retail growth. As companies such as Woolworths, Massmart expand into Africa, South African manufacturers are growing on the back of that. Unfortunately, throughout Africa, the clothing market for new clothing is not substantial. The retail market is not as progressive as in South Africa. Where we believe there is huge opportunity is if we linked with these countries to export. South Africa is quite strong on the textile manufacturing or fabric manufacturing base, whereas a lot of our partners are stronger on the garment manufacturing because the cost of labor is substantially cheaper in some of our neighboring countries. And that is where we see opportunity. Also, governmental purchases through the need for army wear and so forth is growing, municipal wear, and South Africa provides a good base for that.
Finally, quickly, we've got 20 seconds to tell us about the event, when it's taking place and who's coming.
The event will be from the 18th to the 20th of June. It will be at the International Convention Centre in Cape Town. And we're having at least 180 exhibitors this year from across 16 countries, stretching from Egypt, Uganda, Zambia, all the way to South Africa. And there will be international buyers from at least 30 from across Europe, Asia, and America. And I think it provides a great platform as a springboard for manufacturers in Africa into the international market.
Well, thank you, Mark Goliath from IDC. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully you'll join us again closer to the event and bring us a little bit more good news. But thank you for joining us this morning.
My pleasure, Evan. Thank you.
Fine. Well, let's take another look at what you're talking about on social media. It's Monday morning, I'm sure. Lots of people have lots to say, especially after the Buccaneers won the Nedbank Cup over the weekend. Thank you, Orlando Pirates. Finally, a cup final. We win. Yes, Kwabi, that is a sentiment amongst all the Buccaneers on this Monday morning. Masejo Mapunyani says, Pirates football has been pretty below average all year, and now finally the happy people have something to tweet about. You made a lot of finals. Hunt, your clever boys were outplayed by a smarter Pirates. Accept defeat like a gentleman. Hashtag Nedbank Cup, that is. Congratulations to Mr. Itumeleng Kune for doing it yet again. PSL Awards. Yes. Dr. Koza is a boss like that, rubbing salt on Chiefs' wounds. Itumeleng, he says. And then, congratulations, Masandawana, Kabuyelo, Koza, PSL Awards. Yes, it was Saturday class for the clever boys in Durban. Let's have a look at what's on our Facebook page. Of course, we bring you up to date with the latest in all the high-profile cases around South Africa. Then also pictures from this weekend's first ever, well, Nedbank Cup weekend. We talk about that a little bit later as we've got lots of fashion and stuff that linked to that. And then on a lighter note, Google today celebrates the 40th birthday of the iconic Rubik's Cube. More on that on our Facebook page. If you were around, well, you should know. Then, yesterday, 102 years ago, 1912, a boy was born in the village of Kutubeni in the Ngobo district of the Transkei. He was born out of wedlock to his father, a white assistant magistrate, and his mother, a Xhosa domestic worker. This boy later became one of our country's greatest South African anti-apartheid activists. He was jailed at Robben Island, where he served more than 25 years imprisonment. His name was Walter Sisulu. And today, in our YouTube pick of the day, we look back at the day that he was released from prison in 1989.
How do you
Truly a man that will live forever in the pantheon of South Africa's greatest leaders. We're going to take a short break. Newsroom will be back right after this.
The JSE, which didn't trade yesterday, opened quite strongly today and continued to trade in that fashion, almost as if it was playing catch-up.
I think that the markets have been primarily moved by the amount of liquidity which has consecutively been added or subtracted from the markets.
Ireland's official exit from its EU IMF bailout has restored national pride.
The path that has been followed for the past 3 years puts us in a position where we can now be optimistic for our country's future.
That's News at 1, daily at 1 p.m. on SABC News.
Welcome back here with Newsroom on SABC News. Let's take a quick look at our top stories again. Gauteng police are searching for the killers of one of Johnny Clegg's backing vocalists, Bongani Masuku. He was shot dead on Saturday night in Troyville in Johannesburg. Clegg said on his official website that he was shocked and saddened by the singer's death. He said he had been working with Masuku for the past 12 years and described him as a stalwart performer, a hard-working musician and a good friend. The trade union AMCU and the platinum producer Lonmin have both denied any knowledge of a hit list of miners who have agreed to return to work. According to reports at the weekend, 3 men who were murdered in the platinum belt last week were on the list. Workers at Lonmin, Anglo-American Platinum and Impala Platinum have been on strike since January, demanding a 12,500 rand monthly salary. And the government of Mali has sent in troops to retake the town of Kidal from Tuareg separatists. They attacked the town at the weekend during a visit by Prime Minister Moussa Mara. At least 8 soldiers were killed and around 30 civil servants captured by the rebels. But first, midfield general Spusiso Vilakazi was the biggest winner in the Premier Soccer League 2013-14 season awards last night. Vilakazi walked away with the Football of the Season award, Players Player of the Year and the Nedbank Cup Player of the Tournament, banking a total of 550,000 rand in one night. Other notables were Pitso Mosimane, who won the ABSA Premiership Coach of the Year. Justin van Vuuren is a 26-year-old with a set goal in mind for the rest of the year: to grow his hair and beard for 365 days as of the 12th of May 2014 and becoming a caveman. Not all just for fun and games, though, but to raise funds for the Cancer Association of South Africa, Cancer. 1 in 4 people in South Africa are affected by cancer. Justin is on a mission to strike back by raising awareness and a minimum of 365,000 Rand while we all watch his hair and beard grow. We can do that in the studio this morning. Morning, Justin. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Evan.
Interesting idea.
Yeah.
Very noble.
Yeah.
It's still not all grown out yet, but it's only a couple of days. Now tell us what you're thinking and where the idea came from.
Yeah, so I grew my beard last year for the first time, and I grew it for about 7 months. It was actually a bit, which I lost. After about 7 months, it was quite long, so I decided to actually grow it for a purpose this time, and I decided to do it for cancer. I had a meeting with Lucy at the Cancer Association about 2 weeks ago. Decided to do this, and yeah, I've been growing it since last week Monday. Just a bit of stubble this week, but hopefully we'll start seeing some more improvement in the future.
We all know the concept of Movember. How is this different from Movember then?
Well, I mean, no, we're not trying to take anything away from Movember. Well, I'm not especially. I think Movember is a great month to actually grow the mow. I'm just maybe trying to start a new trend, grow that beard out as much as I can, and also grow the hair out. At the end of my 365 days, I just want to get maybe a cancer survivor, or maybe 2 of them who can shave them off, and I get the benefit of doing it for a year and trying to raise as much funds as possible.
You seem very passionate and very into this and very involved. And have you been affected by cancer in your own life at all?
I have had family members or one family member has passed away, as well as very close family friends and a few friends my age, actually. And I just thought that when I did grow my beard, I got a lot of attention when walking into places, and I didn't really have a cause. And I think that if I can have a cause behind that, and a reasoning behind what I'm trying to do here, a lot of people are going to jump on the bandwagon and hopefully support my case, Just going forward, raising awareness for something I do believe in.
You talk about raising awareness. We're seeing some of the pictures of when you had the beard. You're going to grow it. Just tell us, how can people track what you do, and how can they watch you? Because it will be a bit of a spectacle, won't it?
Yeah, I mean, those pictures are taken that was probably about a 7-month-year-old beard there, so I'll still probably get a bit longer than that. If they want to track me, they can see me on Facebook. It's Cavemen for Cancer.
Yeah.
Also on Twitter, I'm at Cavemen for Cancer, so I've got the same name all over the spectrum. But track me there. I'll be posting photos of my beard once a week. I am doing a clip, though, that'll be done by the end of the year, or 365 days, where I'm doing a time lapse. Hopefully can make an advert as well out of that. And I mean, obviously we want people to like my page. The more likes I have, the better. The reason being that at the end of it, I don't want people just to like my page. I want people to go on and donate money. And if you have a look on the page, you'll see that giveandgain.com activist link there. You just click on that, and there's just a red tab there that says donate now, and you guys can donate as much money as you want. 10 Rand, 50 Rand, doesn't really matter as long as people are donating towards the cause.
And what's your call to the general public out there? How do you want them to get involved, and how do they want you to support you financially, and how do they do that if they want to?
The thing is, cancer is a very real thing, and it happens to a lot of people. And, people are always happy to jump on the bandwagon and like a page. And I just want people to like my page because they want to make a difference. It's very easy, as I said, to like a page. But like my page, go onto that link that I've posted there and actually donate money. Show people and make a difference. That's what I want to do, is just make a difference, I guess.
How are you going to manage the beard and the hair? Do you cut the hair? Do you leave the beard? Do you cut the hair? What's your sort of game plan for the next year?
Yeah, so no, I'm just going to let it grow. I mean, obviously, I'm going to have a few dead ends in my hair, apparently. I'm going to have to probably wear a ponytail and something when I go to work, but that's just the way it is, and the gift of the gab, eh? So, yeah.
And support from family and that sort of thing? Do you have a girlfriend? Is she happy with you having a big beard?
No, she's not too excited, but there's nothing I can do, eh? This is something I've wanted to do for a while, so I thought, let's do it. And, my year started last week, Monday, and, we've got another 51 weeks left.
Finally, your message. You're a passionate guy, but what's your message to people out there who'll be watching you on Facebook and be following you for the rest of the year, I would think?
Just that, as I said, it's a very real thing, this disease, and if you want to really make a difference, you're not going to do it by just sitting on your bum. So get up, even if it's just something to do with a different project, but go onto the cancer website, which is www.cancer.org.za. You can type my name in the search bar there also to find me. But any other cause that you believe in, go and support it and make a donation.
Well, fantastic idea, Justin van Veeren, and I hope that you raise a lot of money for cancer. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
Now, the 2013-14 PSL season officially came to an end with the glittering awards last night. Bidvest Wits midfielder Sibusiso Vilakazi was a big winner at the Sandton Convention Centre.
Put your hands together for Sibusiso Vilakazi, Bidvest Wits.
Bidvest first captain Sibusiso Vilakazi walked away with the Football of the Season award, the Players Player of the Season, and the Nedbank Cup Player of the Tournament award.
Truly speaking, I'm so emotional at the moment. It's been a great season, and I'm here because of one person, only the Lord, only the many on top of us.
Mamelodi Sundowns coach Pitso Musimane was named the coach of the season. Ajax Cape Town's Keegan Dolly has been voted Young Player of the Season. Kaizer Chiefs captain Itumele Nkune was named the Goalkeeper of the Season. Hlompo Kikana's long-range strike against Orlando Pirates was voted the absolutely awesome goal of the season.
Yes, the South African soccer season has now officially come to an end with the Nedbank Cup final between Orlando Pirates and Bidvest Wits held on Saturday at the Moses Mabhida Stadium in Durban. The worlds of fashion and football collided over the weekend at the Zimbabwe Resort in KwaZulu-Natal ahead of the final. Football Fan Couture is a campaign that brought together 3 of our country's top designers and paired them with 3 of South Africa's football superfans. Let's just have a sneak peek at what happened at this event. Well, what a fantastic event it was. I can tell you it was on Friday night past, and our producer, Katrine Malan, was down in Durban. Welcome, Katrine. Looks like you guys had a lot of fun. Tell us about this campaign and how it all sort of fits together.
Well, if you remember, we've been following this campaign on the show for the last 3 months. 3 months ago, Nedbank decided they want to bring something new to the whole Nedbank Cup. How are they going to incorporate all of these millions of soccer fans who always dress up for these shows and they're always for these games in makarapas and the colors and everything? How are they going to combine the world of sport with the world of fashion? So that's kind of what they set out to do. So they got 3 of the top fashion designers in the country together, along with 3 of the biggest super fans. Now, even you have to understand these are major super fans. We had Alfred Baloyi from the Kaizer Chiefs, we had Lizzie Matseka from the Mamelodi Sundowns, and then Eugene Khoza, not the comedian by the way, from the Orlando Pirates. They were teamed up. Craig Jacobs by Fundutsi was teamed up with Eugene Khoza. We had David Lale teamed up with Alfred Baloyi, the father of the Makarapa, and then Anissa Mpungwe from Loincloth and Ashes teamed up with Lizzie. Now, and they all got together, designing and working together on these. Are you okay?
So, sorry about that. Just tell me.
All the excitement.
Just tell me, there was a 4th team involved that became involved at the last minute. How did that work?
At the last minute, because unfortunately, Mamelodi Sundowns, Kaizer Chiefs, they all got knocked out during the the run up to the game. And Orlando Pirates were the only team left. And they decided for Bidvest Wits in the final to bring out last minute the designers from Milk and Honey. It's Kelly and Gabriella Davids, if I'm correct. And they brought them together to put together a 4-piece collection, which was stunning, by the way. It was blue and white the entire night. It was brilliant.
This was the event itself at Zimbabwe. Tell us about the event. Looks like there were lots of celebrities. It must have been quite a zhoosh event.
This was the big reveal on Friday night, and these photos were beautiful photos taken by Mariska van den Brink. And we had a string of A-list celebrities there. We've got some soccer stars. Ryan Botha was there.
Yeah.
We had Jenna Dover there. We've had DJ Cleo there. But the stars of the night were the designers and, of course, the superfans. Now, these superfans were treated even from start to finish. I know Eugene, it was the first time that he was on a plane, flew down from Gauteng to Durban. Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
His first time. So they were all treated. I know Alfred and David in the end won. Okay.
Okay.
We all had to vote. It was up to the audience to pick their favorite designing duo and move to them and like hold up a little card. And then in the end, Alfred and David won.
Tell me about the rest of the weekend, because it was the first time for you, I think, at a big football final here in South Africa. It must have been a great experience.
It was a fantastic experience. They were very big on social media as well. We had all the hashtags, hashtag My Nedbank Cup Weekend and hashtag Nedbank Cup Final, all of that. And we were at the Zimbabwe Lodge, which was beautiful. It was breathtaking. These were the twit pics that I took at the event that night at the big reveal. And it was just a fantastic experience. The Zimbabwe Lodge, the weather in Durban was fantastic. And then we were treated to a very nice breakfast the next day and on Saturday. And just before the game, which was in the afternoon. And even, I must say, I was completely, out of my comfort zone, because I've never been to one of these stadiums. I've never been to one of these matches. So it was really, really a great experience. Everybody was just feeling the vibe. Alfred, the soccer fans, the super fans, they all just came together to celebrate a good time.
And a packed house at Moses Mabhida must have been an incredible
Yes,
atmosphere.
it was.
Also, and the super fans, how did they integrate themselves? I'm sure people loved their outfits.
No, they did. They looked stunning. Look, they didn't take the outfits off. They got onto the plane with the outfits, and they left on the plane with the outfits. They were, and it's funny, they are all competitors and stuff, but once we were at the game, they all just got together and we just all celebrated from start to finish. But yeah, it was a sea of black, white and red when I got there, and the atmosphere was amazing. After the second half, when those 3 goals were scored, it was just, yeah.
This is, we saw some of the people ran onto the field.
It was afterwards, Moses Mabhida going crazy after they won the game.
Tell me about, the city of Durban. It always seems that they're up for a great party. This must have been a fantastic event in that city, yeah?
No, it was. You could feel the vibe there. The weather was very nice. We had some rainy weather. We were expecting some weather later that afternoon. But no, it was fantastic. Traffic was horrible after the game. You can just imagine everybody celebrating. That's, of course, David Tlale partying it out while we were there at the stadium. And yes, Durban was amazing.
Yeah, there was also a small matter of the greatest team in South Africa, Orlando Pirates, winning the Nedbank Cup at their 4th attempt this year. 4 finals, 1 title, will take it. Thanks, Katrine. Thank you for joining us and enjoying your holiday in Durban the weekend. That was very nice.
Break.
Next time you can let me go. That's Katrine Milan, of course, always up to speed. If you want to know the very latest, go to our Facebook page or our Twitter page, especially our Facebook page. Katrine is on there all the time and keeps us updated. Let's just take a final look at what you are talking about. Social media now, of course, the PSL Awards dominated social media this morning. Yeah, just some of the pictures incoming from the event. That is the man with all the answers, Pitso Mosimane, coach of the season, Pitso Mosimane. There is Martin Stekelenburg sending that's Roger de Saa, of course, with the young player of the year, Keegan Dolly. Minister Razmataz was there. Yeah, thank you for coming. That's our sports minister, Minister of Sport and Recreation in South Africa at the PSL Awards. Quite a glitzy affair it was last night. Let the show begin. Awesomeness, I would think. Some more pictures incoming. Those was just some of the awards that were handed out at the event. Keep it coming. We love your interactions. We love your pictures. We love it when you send it. We put it up. It adds so much to the show. Yes, this show has been broadcast live weekday mornings from Johannesburg here in South Africa. We're also streaming live on YouTube, or you can simply tune into our YouTube channel at your leisure anytime, at the office or at home, doesn't matter. This is SABC News. You've been watching Newsroom. We love it in the morning.
SABC News. We report, contextualize and present news and current affairs honestly, fairly and fully. We consider it a duty to provide consistent, relevant, useful and top quality information and analysis. Our mission is to provide credible, accurate and interesting news programming, bringing news into everyone's homes in everyone's languages. Thank you, South Africa, for relying on SABC News for quality news output and for making us your #1 source of information. SABC News, Africa's news leader.
Zimbabwe